Hello, I'm Mark Hefner with Plateau Land Wildlife Management, here today to answer some frequently asked questions. If you are not able to watch the entire video, you will be able to scroll through and select the topics that interest you most. So let's get started. What is the difference between Ag Exemption and Wildlife Exemption, or in this case, Ag Valuation and Wildlife Management Valuation? The biggest difference in the two is one is based on a productivity model whereby you're on your property, you're producing a product, compared to wildlife management where it is effort or activity based. You're going to implement activities that benefit the native Texas wildlife, and that's what your tax valuation will be based on. How much does it cost? It is based on acreage, size, potential particulars. Give us a call. Let's talk through that. How many acres are required for wildlife exemption or wildlife valuation in Texas? Technically, there is no minimum acreage if you meet certain criteria. The best way, give us a call. Let's talk through your property in particular. What qualifies for Ag exemption in Texas? Ag exemption's been around a long time, or Ag valuation's been around a long time. So your Ag exempt can be based on some sort of ag use. Could be crops, could be hay, could be livestock. It varies depending on what is specific to your region. Can you lose an Ag exemption in Texas? Absolutely. Plateau spends a lot of our time helping people that have had challenges. If you do not meet minimum criteria laid out by your appraisal district from an ag standpoint, it could be around hay production, it could be regarding your livestock. If you do not meet their minimum qualifications, they could remove the tax valuation, resulting in high property taxes. This is a common question. How long does it take? They call us and they're in need of relief. That depends on two criteria. Are they currently in ag, or are they starting from scratch? So let's break that down. If you're currently in ag right now, you're qualified, likely qualified for conversion to wildlife management this year. So if you're in ag and you've been in ag, we can help you convert to wildlife management as soon as this year. If you're starting from scratch, it is a longer process. If you're going to begin using livestock, for instance, to develop your ag history, it is a 5-year process. Year 1 through 5 is building history. Year 6, you receive the tax valuation. Year 7, you are then qualified for conversion to wildlife management. What is the 1D1 or 1D1 open space exemption in Texas? That is similar to the question we just covered, in that it's a tax valuation reducing the property tax burden for those that are producing a product or are in wildlife management in the state of Texas. How many animals do I need to be considered a farm? That's a common question. Those animal unit requirements, as we refer to them, are typically laid out by the appraisal district, because that is based on some factors such as location in the state, habitat, that sort of deal. So you need to check with your local appraisal district to see what will qualify your land for an ag valuation. Do chickens count for an ag exempt in the state of Texas? They can. Again, as I mentioned earlier, animal units are what the requirement is. An animal unit is 1,000 pounds. So the number of chickens you need to meet the animal unit requirements can be large. I would recommend you checking with your appraisal district before you embark on purchasing a bunch of chickens and trying to develop your ag exempt. Another question, at what age do you stop paying property taxes in Texas? It's like death. You're going to continue to pay property taxes. However, at 65, your taxes on certain items are frozen. So that's a benefit to you. My mother is in her 80s. At 65, her property taxes stopped or froze at that level. So that's a great benefit for them. Very common question here, how to become ag exempt in Texas. Again, we're talking about a tax valuation, but that's the question that people ask. You need to develop some sort of ag history. That can be with beekeeping, That can be with cows, goats, sheep, hay. Essentially, it's a 6-year process. You utilize whatever ag use is that qualifies your property, and you do that for 5 years, still paying market value taxes. In year 6, you would qualify for the tax valuation. So now your property taxes are reduced to the ag level. And if you're me, I'm going to then take the next step in year 7 and convert to wildlife management, something that more people are looking to progress to. Who qualifies for an ag exemption or for an exemption? Again, I'm going to assume that's for the tax valuation. The tax valuation is based on somebody that has a piece of property. That's very vague, but there are other criteria that we would need to discuss as far as getting into the details of that question. Give us a shout. How many acres do you need for an agricultural exemption? That depends on the type of productivity model you're going to employ or deploy. If you're going to be in livestock, there is a certain amount of acreage that will be required to manage for livestock. A large part of that question will depend on your vision and your goal for meeting that standard. Can I manage for multiple species? You can, and we do recommend that you have more than one target species in your wildlife management plan. For instance, songbirds, dove, quail, turkey. It provides more opportunity, more variation in activity. So yes, you can manage for multiple species. How many cows do you need to qualify for ag exemption? That will vary greatly across the state. Because of our diverse habitat, we have desert and we have some piney woods and we have a lot of variations in between. So it will depend on where you're located, what county, and what ecoregion. The safest bet is to give us a call. We can help you with that. If you want to talk to somebody besides Plateau, you can call your appraisal district and get more details on what the requirements are. How to reduce your property taxes in Texas. Since we're talking about ag and wildlife management, it is one of the best tools to reduce the tax burden. If you own open space land or rural land or even land that's in the city, but it actually qualifies for ag or wildlife, that is one of the best ways to reduce your property taxes. Give us a call. Let's talk about your situation. What happens if I sell my property? If you have a property that is in ag or wildlife management and you sell it, the new owners can apply for and should receive the same tax valuation that you currently have. There is a process, and the new landowners should be made aware that they need to apply in their ownership. Do bees count as ag exemption in Texas? Absolutely. Bees are a growing trend. We all know we need more bees. We know what role bees play in our habitat. And so beekeeping can be utilized to establish and maintain your ag valuation on properties that are 5 to 20 acres. Is wildlife management tax deductible? In its simplest form, the wildlife management plan cost, for instance, if you have Plateau do it for you, you can deduct that cost, the cost of the wildlife management plan. After that, most of your wildlife management activities and effort is not tax deductible. What are the biggest mistakes landowners make? The biggest mistake is lack of follow through. Once you convert to wildlife management, that is step one. But implementation of wildlife management related activities, documentation, annual reporting, meeting the requirements of your appraisal districts is typically where the mistakes happen. So again, whether or not you're in wildlife management or in ag, follow through with the activities, keep good documentation, and meet any requests from your central appraisal district that they may have.